Hey, what's up, guys? Danny Colville here with Colville Outfitters and Custom Tackle. Great news. Our boy Joe is back, our beloved cameraman, so hopefully we're going to be doing more videos. I'm sorry we had a little break here. It's been a crazy spring. We had all kinds of new stuff happening. I have my knife factory finally in working order, and I know you guys probably don't know about that, but as you knew, we were carrying a bunch of knives from local makers, which we still are, and we were also buying a bunch of knives, folders, and some different fixed blades from all over the world, which we do offer here. We have a lot of great brands like Vosteed, Civivi, all kinds of awesome stuff. But we do have our own knife brand, and a lot of the items I'm going to be showing you tonight are the knives that we are going to be offering. We also have a bunch of new great products from a bunch of our favorite manufacturers and vendors, and I'm really excited to show you guys what is new and up and coming for this winter. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is what we're known best for, which is our reels. So as you know, we've been making reels since 2005. I teamed up with a machine shop here in Western New York, and we've been making the finest reels since 2015. They're all handmade, and they're all custom, and they're all unique. We do have a new line of reels. We were calling them the shop reels or the silver series, and we were making them available so they could be available in the shops locally to you. Unfortunately, we just don't have enough of them to sell to the stores, so we're actually only having them available at Colville Outfitters. There's still going to be that great price point. They're only $450, and they come with the same warranty as our high-end reels, and there's really not much of a difference, to be honest. So we have 3 models. This is the first model here. This is called the Shido. It's your classic drifter style with the big holes. There's some small holes in between. The only difference between this and a Leviathan is instead of the teardrops around the center cap, we have just more holes and circles. It looks a lot more like a lot of the other reels in the industry. It's not our most unique reel, but it is beautiful, and the way it fishes is very unique. We have our nice big handles on the reels. This specific reel has the cranberry crushed ice, which is really popular. It's a nice maroon color. This is an all black reel trimmed out with rogue red, and on the back we have a Trevor Hawkins steelhead. This is a steelhead that came out of the piece of artwork called Stung Steel from Trevor Hawkins. And these don't come with any sort of clicker inlay like our higher end reels. So you do get the nice handles, which are the oversized handles. These only come in a few colors also. They come in steelhead blue, gunmetal, silver, or black. And we are going to start offering these custom, which we've never done before. Since we don't have enough of them to sell to the other shops in North America, what we're going to do is we're going to offer these customizable to you guys. And what that means is you can pick a single color for the reel. Okay, you can't switch, half black, half blue. You could pick your whole reel a solid color, and then you can pick the accent colors of your reel. So for example, if you wanted to pick a Shido and you wanted to do this reel in all black with blue accents, you could do that, and then you can pick the artwork you want, which typically we weren't offering custom artwork on this, but you can now pick the artwork you would like, and you can get a clicker inlay, and it's going to be an extra upcharge for these things. It won't be much, so the base price is $450 to get a single fish etched or no etching at all. Custom handles on the front, and you can pick your color components and one solid base color for your reel. Again, this is 1 out of 3 options. The other option we have is called the Deruda, which is this reel. It has a bunch of small holes. It's similar to the Seamstress or the delta, even, drop back-esque-ish, without the teardrop shapes. So I would say the best way to describe it is in between a seamstress and a delta. So there's a bunch of small holes here. If you notice the names of the reels, Daruda means delta in Japanese, and Shido and the other reel Shinobi is also a Japanese word. You guys can look them up if you're bored. But these reels came out when the show Shogun was playing, and we were really excited about that show, or at least I was, so I picked Japanese names to go with these reels. So again, this one's the Daruda. It also has the Hawkins stung steel fish on the back of it, and this one is all gunmetal with Oregon candy apple green accents, and it's got the nice tall handles here. The main difference between these and our 535s are there is no porting where the line sits on the spool, so the line won't dry out as much, but it's very minimal amount of weight gain by not having that. The last reel we have in our collection of Silver Series reels is the Shinobi. And that is similar to the Winter Run style, almost that ninja star or snowflake pattern. And this one is in steelhead blue. It's got the nice big acrylic handles on it, and it's trimmed in black. This one actually has a Ryan Orndorff original Paragon fish. This isn't the most recent Paragon fish. Ryan actually went in and added a tail, but for old school purposes, we actually are offering this artwork, and it's more of a simple artwork, so you'll see a lot of those on these Silver Series reels. You'll also notice that they come with this one level of porting here, and the reel they're absolutely beautiful. You will love them. Everyone who picks them up, they say how light they are. You definitely want more weight to your reel when you're fishing a 13-foot reel. A 13-foot rod. But, these will balance a 12 to 13-foot rod just fine. So, on to the next thing here. We'll stay in the float fishing world. Redwing Tackle has come out with so many cool new things. And for 2025, they're releasing some new netting and some new floats, and I'm really excited to be the first one to show you guys this, and we're the first shop that has these available. You can't buy these anywhere else. We are the only people who have these right now, so if you're interested, call the shop, check online. We'll have this stuff available right away for you. If you don't have the phone number for the shop, it's 716-627-7335. Again, that's 716-627-7335. You could also check us out at ColvilleOutfitters.com. So if you remember, Blackbird has had a ton of really different floats over the years. In fact, Redwing Tackle has been out for 41 years, and it's only run by 4 people. And what I can say about Redwing Tackle is they truly are in this industry because they love it. They're not in it to make money. They don't want to grow too big. They have 4 people working in their warehouse, and all they do all day is pack orders and run the machines, cut netting. It's an incredible group of people who run that. Barry is 83 years old. He started the company because of his passion and love for steelhead fishing, and they just never have done much marketing and advertising, but they've had, anyone who knows, they've had some of the best products and some of the most unique products in the industry. They offer a 3-in-1 float that you can fish 3 different ways. They offer the SRP, which is like a loafer style float. And then they offered, not my favorite float, the injection molded plastic floats that are, in that same realm as Drennan, but because they're injection molded instead of blow molded, they tended to crack. So they weren't the best one, but they sell tons. I sell tons of them. People love them. They're just not my personal cup of tea. But what I will tell you is for this year, they finally have come out with a nice high-vis carbon stem float that is absolutely stunning beautiful. Unlike some of the other companies out there, these have polyurethane coating on them, extra thick, not too thick that it's not going to allow the float to move freely in the water, but thick enough that it's going to protect your float. Most other companies, what they'll do is they'll just put paint over top of the balsa, and what happens is once that paint chips, which it chips very easily, the water will start absorbing into the balsa, and now your float, starts to change the dynamic of how it floats. And a lot of these companies do that. They just literally spray paint over it. They call it good. And yeah, they do work very well for a few trips out. But once they get that chip, they're going to start absorbing water. And they're a disposable float. And I have no problem with that. If they're a few dollars and you want to buy, spend a few bucks on a disposable float, no problem. They come with carbon stems. They're a high quality float besides the finish. But that's totally, as you're a consumer, that's your choice. But I'm really excited to bring you the polyurethane coated Redwing Blackbird. Super high end, kind of in between a loafer and a trotter. These are their carbon stem, high vis fixed float. Mega durable, absolutely beautiful. A ton of design went into this. It's kind of like their original SRP floats, and they have them in a bunch of neat sizes. Paul from the company had assured me that they are working on other sizes, but they've come out with a whole bunch new for 2025. And it's really exciting that I'm able to show you guys these first. So their largest fixed float of the series is a 9.5, which is what I have in my hand. You get two of these beautiful floats near custom for only $8 or $9. I mean, which is an absolute phenomenal value. Even their SRP floats, you get two of them for $6.99. They're a beautiful balsa, but instead of the carbon stem, they have a wood skewer stem, and they're a highly loved float between a lot of the old school steelheaders. So if you haven't tried the SRPs, give those a chance. I think you'll love them. But these new floats here, I don't even know if they have a name here. They call them the one-piece float. So not too sure, but it comes with tubing. I would recommend that you buy extra tubing. I always like to run a longer piece of tubing at the bottom, so when you bulk your shot up at the bottom of the float, you won't get that rattle. And then also I like to put one extra piece of backup tubing on the top of the bottom stem. So if you set the hook and you cut through that top tubing, you could slide down the long piece of bumper tubing you have and the spare that you have at the top of the bottom stem, and you could just replace it real easy rather than having to cut your whole rig off to re-rig. So they have a few different sizes. We'll have them on CovilleOutfitters.com coming. In my hand here, I have a 5.5, which I know a lot of you guys will use, especially on the smaller Erie tribs. And then probably by far the most popular is going to be their 7.5, which is right here. And again, I'm sure they're going to be making other floats, and they'll probably come out with some teardrop styles and whatnot. But again, Redwing Tackle, they are not about growing larger than what they could handle. There's 4 employees. They want to stay fairly small, and they want to just survive and live good lives. They're not trying to get so big and crazy that their heads are spinning trying to keep up with all the orders, which, I must commend them. They've been in business for 41 years. It's amazing. I mean, that's 1 year longer than I've been alive. They've been in business. So they've literally been making products since I've been in diapers. Amazing. They also have a new slip float, same polyurethane coating, high visibility, nice balsa. It comes with the float stops already. Really, really nice. These are the 16 grams, so If right now 9.5 grams is too small, you could run these as a fixed float and use a couple stoppers above and below the float, and that will be just fine. But knowing Redwing and what they do, they'll probably end up coming out with some larger fixed floats as well. They do have some smaller slip floats as well, which are very popular in Canada. A lot of people like the acorn shape small fixed floats in Ontario, so I know that's why they made these. And they also, again, if you guys have a chance to look it up, look up the 321 float, because the 321 float is this same style float, but there is a clear piece of plastic tubing that runs through it, and it's a stiffer piece of tubing that you can peg bobber stops at the top and the bottom, or you can use it as a fixed float. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can run that float, and it's really unique and revolutionary in the industry. And it's just never, because Redwing tackle doesn't have a huge social media presence, a lot of these floats never get out through the industry, and luckily they hold on to them long enough and don't discontinue them where they're never found again. But yeah, give our website a hit. Take a look at these floats. We're working on getting them all up. If you don't find them on our website, you could also call the shop at 716-627-7335, and we'll pack you up an order right on the phone, take your card number, throw some extra stickers in there for you, make you a happy customer. Next, I am going to go on to our cure. If you guys haven't used it, this is our Chrome Cure. It is a blend of over 20 ingredients. I have worked on this cure. Anyone who has stayed at my house or come in the shop as I'm working on eggs can attest that I am like over the top when it comes to eggs and the processing of eggs and the care of eggs. It's a whole new level. Fish roe for me is a passion that I lose sleep over, literally. Like, I spend sleepless days curing eggs because once they come out of the fish, it's a rush to get cure on them and get them processed and frozen or cooled so they can last for you guys. And I spend so much time and effort so you guys don't need to, and you don't need to waste your time dealing with the crowds and the snagging and the fights and the nonsense that goes on. You can just buy great roe from me and be very confident with the eggs. There isn't many shops that sell eggs that they'll confidently fish, that the owner will confidently fish himself. And all of my eggs, I fish the same eggs that I sell you guys, I fish. And I oftentimes question that because I'll be down at the river fishing and guys will be thanking me for the eggs, and now I have to fish in the hole behind them, and they've already run the eggs that that I've cured. So for myself, it's a little bit frustrating. That brings me to another point. You can, if you want to cure your own eggs, we have our Chrome Cure here. We have a few different sizes. So you can, they come in these shaker spice bottles. The directions are on the back. The smaller bottles don't have the directions, but if you call, we can give you the directions, or we could send you an email with the directions for how to cure them. They're pretty easy. Most importantly is you want to salt it as if you were salting a steak 2 or 3 times, and you want to let it sit at room temperature for 3 to 4 hours, 60 to 75 degrees, and then in the refrigerator overnight. We do also sell non-cured eggs, so if you wanted to cure your own eggs, we do sell those. We don't like to ship them very often. We only offer them overnight shipping, but we have non-cured eggs. They like to, once they come out of the fish, they like to spoil very, very, very fast. So like you have to get them and get cure on them right away, and you got to make sure when you put the cure on them, it's at room temperature. But here is a batch of fresh non-cured eggs. Now, if you don't come in the store to pick these up, before we ship these to you, we will be freezing them firstly. So when we freeze them, what happens is the egg's going to expand and some are going to pop. So what ends up happening is you're going to end up getting some like smaller shells like this here. And you simply just, take a paper towel or take a spoon and go through them and get, take out these shells here, and just get rid of the shells. No big deal. But this is the uncured version. Now, the cured version also will have breakage because, again, we are much better off getting the eggs and getting them processed and in the freezer right away. This way, when you get them, it's like they just came out of the fish. I mean, these fish are sitting in water that's oftentimes in the 30s. So going into the freezer real briefly is not going to hurt them. Trust me when I tell you. So if I would show you guys, so here is a batch of a 2-pound batch of eggs that was in the freezer from last year, and you guys can see there is a lot of liquid in the bottom here, okay? Now there's 2 things to do with this liquid, all right? Number 1, you can just lay these on a paper towel and let the liquid absorb in a paper towel, and that would, throw the paper towel in the garbage. Or you can simply take a strainer and put a strainer over a bowl, dump the eggs in, go through it, pick out any little shells that you don't want in with your bags, ditch those, and then when you're done, you have this, this bowl with all this nectar from the broken eggs, and you can do all kinds of great stuff with that. You could pour it on top of your eggs. Like what I like to do is I like to dry the eggs out a little bit. The egg sacs, I tie them, I let them sit at room temperature, or I put them in the fridge without the cap on them. And then what I'll do is I'll actually drizzle a little bit of that juice on it, and it will milk like you've never seen an egg milk, and it'll get bit faster than any other egg. I can assure you that. You can also save the nectar off the bottom, put it in like a small little squirter bottle, and if you're out fishing, you can, after you drifted an egg sac a few times, you can take it and just squirt a little bit more on your egg sac, and it's like you have a fresh egg sac. So there's a lot you could do with this. It isn't a holding solution. So a lot of companies, a lot of stores, a lot of people that will sell you eggs, they will call this a holding solution. And a holding solution is a type of sodium that they mix with water to hold in the eggs so the eggs don't spoil or they don't turn white. And with our eggs, they're not like that. These are right out of the fish. They're cured a special way. They're going to be the softest eggs you can buy. And the reason we like them soft, they're more of a pain in the butt to tie, but they get bit faster. And when you hook a fish, the eggs will break, and you're not fighting a fish with a full egg sac on your hook. I've been doing this for 25 years. I can assure you it is more time consuming to tie soft eggs, and you have to tie more of them because you're just naturally going to go through them more, but you're going to hook more fish and you are going to land more fish. So that's what I'll say about this. One other thing that's changing in our egg shipment process here. We are now going to be sending all of our eggs in these new super durable containers. So we have had some customers get some eggs that are handled by the post office, a little rougher than what we have liked. So we always wrap them really well. We put ice packs in them. We wrap them in foil. We put handle with care stickers. But the post office doesn't care. They really do not care. I've watched them take fragile packages and literally take them out of the box and throw them in the back of the truck. They do not care, no matter how many fragile stickers I put on them. I still put the fragile stickers on them because maybe I will find someone that cares. But I'm telling you that I'm going to have to change the way I ship these eggs because some of you guys have gotten your eggs and you're like, oh, the eggs are okay, but all the juice is all over, and who wants to deal with a messy package? So we're going to have to increase the price, just the cost of the container, which is just a couple dollars. But you could be assured that when you get this container, the eggs will not be damaged. The juice will not leak out. You can drain them yourself and keep the nectar. The nectar doesn't have to be all over the package. And if that's happened to you, I do apologize. If you call us directly and you tell us that that had happened, I can give you a discount on your next purchase. I can't do a lot when the post office mishandles a package. I package them correctly. When they mishandle them, there isn't enough money in this egg game that I'm able to refund money when a post office has the juice drip out of one of the containers. So I've changed it. I've gotten a much better container. This is a 2-pound container. It's a ton of eggs. The eggs will come to you beautifully. And like I said, there are going to be some shells that are broken from the eggs just freezing. But I will guarantee you they will work better than any other egg out there. I've heard so many success stories about people having a outstanding season with these eggs, and they wouldn't have been able to do it without it. And I will put these eggs up against any store-bought eggs in the world. So if you think you can buy a better store-bought bait than these, I would love to have a competition where they fish next to each other. I'm very confident in these. So, all right, guys. So where I left off was we were talking about eggs and all kinds of great stuff from Redwing Tackle. One of the most exciting things for 2025 is the new bubblegum color netting from Redwing Tackle. Now, as you guys know, Potski bought out Atlas Mikes and the formulation of the netting changed. And you all know that you've tried it and it's been stiff and the colors are a little different and there's been a lot of issues. Well, all those issues are solved. We got a beautiful, soft, incredible product from Redwing Tackle that is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if the camera's going to show it, but it doesn't have that same Charisi purple look. This is the same color as the Atlas Mike's old school pink, and it is just soft and beautiful, and the holes are slightly different. What you'll notice with the Redwing netting versus the other brands is the other brands, they have diamond cuts in the tool. This actually has longer octagon cuts in the tool. So once you figure out how to pinch the netting and tie it, you could get a really nice, perfect circle, and it will look absolutely beautiful. And depending on how much tension or how hard you squeeze the eggs, this allows you to let the eggs be more exposed if you want, or if you tie the bag that's you want it a little looser, you can get more of a deeper netting color when you tie your bags. But really excited for this product. I had pushed them for years and years to come out with a pink that wasn't that Charisi pink that they had. And now we have this new one, which is called Bubblegum. Really incredible. Please give this a try. You guys are going to be so happy with it. The other color that I have been pushing for years has been this incredible sky blue color. And if you guys don't know about this color, this is such a love-hate relationship for me, because all this stuff is like kind of in my secret arsenal, yet I'm offering it to you guys, and it's like, it's kind of hurting me at the same time. But trust me when I tell you, if you haven't used this color is an absolute banger of a color. It's one of the ones that I don't leave the house without. And we're talking the Great Lakes here. I have had incredible luck on the West Coast in that real clear water. But if you get tannic fall water that has good clarity, this sky blue is tough to beat. So thank you, Redwing, for taking my advice and allowing me to annoy you for all these years to bring out these colors. And now I feel like their entire line of netting is complete until we start doing the multicolor and tie-dye. I'm just joking with you guys. I'm not going to push them that far because I can get the colors I want just by adding some different material in the bags. I can get the tie-dye and multicolor that I'm after that way. But thanks again, Redwing. I'm so appreciative of this beautiful netting that you've brought out to the market. And I hope we can continue to grow the Redwing product line for many great years to come. And yeah, that's that for Redwing tackle. Now, another egg product we will look at before we go on to the next thing is I have some absolutely beautiful orange crush eggs this year. And these are going to be listed as, these here are, like I said, they're orange crush eggs. So they're an immature salmon egg. And as you can see, they're absolutely just beautiful, beautiful smelling, beautiful tasting. I don't have one of these thawed, but last year we had our lemon roe. If you remember last year, so this is the lemon roe, and this is the orange crush for this year. So we had two different ones. We still do have, I don't know, maybe 10 lemon roe left. The lemon roe is a lot harder than the orange crush because when the orange crush was harvested at the factory, they took it out and they put it in a colander first, so it wasn't sitting in the water that the lemon roe was sitting in. So the lemon roe, if you want a really tough, durable bag, the lemon roe is awesome. It looks really cool. Guys have been ranting and raving about it. They're a little tough for my taste, but if you're fishing for like stock trout that are, you know, biting a lot and there's lots of them in a hole and they're not too picky, lemon roe is the way to go. A friend of mine, Alan Farley, he lives in North Carolina. He was just up fishing a bunch of stock tributaries in North Carolina. They had a lot of wild fish there too, but he ended up just knocking the crap out of them. And he was pretty much all buying beads. I said, Alan, let me throw you in a container of the lemon roe, tie him up, try him out, let me know. And he said he caught like over 80 fish on the lemon roe alone. So if you guys are fishing for hatchery, rainbows, browns, tiger trout, you got to do yourself a favor and try some of this lemon roe. It's unbelievable. I only have 10 containers left. It's $30 for a 10-ounce container. And if you consider that versus what caviar cost, it really is a super inexpensive price for how much you get of this stuff. And our orange crush, it's softer, it's a different color, same chrome cure, really beautiful stuff. You guys cannot go wrong with these. They are just an absolute knockout. You will be really, really happy with it. So just give us a call if you're interested. We have a few containers of each one. They come in just this one size. So if you're interested, give us a holler. You will not be disappointed. And that will bring us to another session of the video, which is our new beads. So we have been working with a couple different companies. One of them is Robolize, and they are out of Oregon, and they are the ones that recreated the Okie Drifter. And that, I guess, goes crazy out west, but what I've realized here in the Great Lakes is the Okie Drifter, because of the way it's designed, it doesn't fish the best in our waters, okay? So Joe was nice enough to come out with a bunch of awesome beads that we can quickly peg on our line by just spinning on the line, and pegging them real quick, so they're super easy to change. And he's come out with some different bead colors that would be super effective in our waters here. So Joe is working on a bunch of 8, 10, and 12 millimeter beads that we could fish here in the Great Lakes with. And if you haven't checked them out, you know, it's called Robalize is the company. They're called mercurial beads. It's kind of a play off mercury because they spin around, the groove spins around the beads, and they're really easy to peg as long as you don't have any paint right in the hole. And if you do, just take a hook and remove some of that paint. You can peg them no problem. And what also is super cool about Joe's beads is he makes them in neutrally buoyant, sinking, or floating. And depending on what you want your presentation to do, that is absolutely huge. The other day I dropped a bead in the water and it was floating, and I didn't even know it was a floating bead, and I was catching tons and tons of fish on this bead, and I didn't know why. I tried to put on a sinking bead after just to see, not a touch. So if you don't believe in neutral, buoyant, sinking, and floating making a big difference when it comes to beads, you got to revisit your bead game, because it definitely does for sure. Another company that I want to talk about real briefly is Death Row, and this is a company that was started by Michael Hacker, and he sold the company about 2 years ago to two brothers. The brother I've been working with, his name is Jake, and for years I've been selling these Death Row beads, and guys rant and rave and love them, even to the point where a very close friend of mine, Matt, he relies on these so heavily. When he runs out of one, he'll take one and he'll bite little pieces of the bead off and fish just a chunk of the bead above the hook. Like, he'll bite a 10 millimeter and a half and fish it like a 6 millimeter. And he catches fish with it. Bizarre. I'm telling you, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it. But these things work incredible, okay? Now, recently, as you know, I work a lot with Lazy Larry's, and they have come out with a line of the Colville Secret beads, which everybody loves, and they work great. But I thought to myself, you know, being a local company, maybe Death Row would want to work on some of these colors with me, and they did. They worked on 2 different ones. I got one with a bubblegum base. It's called the Colville Gum Shot. And then there's another one, which we haven't named yet, that's like a chartreuse base, and it has like some hot pink and yellow splatter. So we got to come up with a name for that. We'll see. Maybe I'll post it and let you guys come up with a name for that. But that's another great bead, and I'll pull these out. But another bead I wanted to show you guys was this one called Circus. And for whatever reason, you know, I don't run a ton of beads. Number one, I'm such a heavy jig and such a heavy row fisherman that I don't like cutting my line a lot to try different beads. And yeah, the Lazy Larry's accounts for that and makes it a lot easier. I just don't typically run a lot of beads. Well, the way you can hook these the way you could hook these Death Row beads is you hook them, you slide them up to where you want them, and then you re-hook them, so you're double hooking them essentially, and it kind of locks them into place real nice. You do go through a lot of beads because as you're fighting fish, your line will tear through it, but you get, you know, 3, 4, or 5 fish out of it. It's totally fine. I'm happy with that. I'm not that worried about it. But I gave these a good solid effort over the past few weeks. And all I can say is, wow. I mean, Death Row, the recipes that they have for their soft beads are on like a whole nother level. And you guys can see I jump around from Steelhead Stalker, BNR. They all work great, okay? Just right now, because Death Row did some custom colors for me, I had to fish them, I had to try them, and oh my God, did they fish incredible. And if you guys Maybe I can have Joe put some slideshow with some of the fish I've caught on these death row beads. I'm not running a bead and then a bag below it. I'm running the straight bead, and they are working incredible. And I know the water's been low this year. I know the fish are getting pounded on these amazing eggs that I'm selling. But trust me, there's something special about these death row beads. And the couple colors I want to pull out and show you. Number one is one that they just came out with on their own. My friend Dave Roberts showed me this one. I don't know if Joe can zoom in on this one, but this one's called Circus. And this one is a glow bead, and it's got like a chartreuse model and a pink model, and it's like a white glow. And Dave and I were fishing one night, and you couldn't even see your float, and he charged one of these things. And I kind of laughed at him that he wasn't going to hook a fish on this glow-in-the-dark bead because you couldn't see your float. And he threw that thing out there and didn't he hook a fish on the thing. It was really pretty cool. All right, this next bead is a Colville gum shot, and this one is like a bubblegum base, and it's got like a pearlescent flake on the inside with like a yellowy cream color splattered on the outside. And this bead, I'm telling you, I can show you picture after picture of fish that we've absolutely spanked on this bead. It's been unbelievable, one of the best beads that I have ever fished in the history of beads. So really awesome. This one, again, this one's called the Colville Gum Shot. And then finally, I will show you the unnamed one yet. Normally, Lazy Larry's, I didn't get to name them. I just called them whatever. So they called them Colville Secrets. But this one will come up with a good name too. But this is like a chartreuse base with a yellow and hot pink splatter. Really beautiful, really cool looking. Should be just absolutely killer out there everywhere. But I have knocked the snot out of the fish on this one here on the Erie Tribs. So again, maybe we'll do a slideshow of some fish I've caught on this in this video. I'll send it to Joe, see what he could do. But that pretty much wraps it up for all the fishing tackle. I'm going to get a quick drink real quick, and then we will go on to the knives. Okay, guys, this brings us to our last and final new products at Colville Outfitters, and that is our new knives. They're called Angler's Edge knives by Colville Outfitters, and we have a entire factory set up similar to our real factory, but it's made or it's established to make knives. We still do offer made in the USA knives from other manufacturers that we've collaborated with. But we have a few different knives to show you. Like the reels, we have a Silver Series, which is our entry-level, middle-of-the-road ones, which are very, very close in quality to our upper end. And then we have our Platinum Series, which is the best top-of-the-line, perfect knives. So the first ones I'm going to show you is I worked with a guy. His name's Tim Regroot. It's T. Regroot Knives. He's out of Pennsylvania. We had worked on a couple fillet knives. So we have these beautiful resin scaled handles. We have AEBL steel, which is a really great stainless steel, stays sharp, sharpens easy. I believe this is a 59 to 61 Rockwell hardness. A lot of flex on these. Great for skinning perch and smaller walleye and everything. Really beautiful. They have glow liners, and they come with this nice Kydex sheath here. So really just a great overall package in general. Really a beautiful, I mean, no rattle at all in there. They're really a really a great package. So there's two options. You got, this is our chrome blue Chinook salmon. It's got the blue glow-in-the-dark liners. And then you have our steelhead here. So it's steelhead honeycomb resin with pink glow-in-the-dark liners. And these are all handmade. They're a little different. Each one has a little different flex. But these are really, really flexible, guys. So for getting in there and cleaning the skin off of a fillet, hard to beat this knife. It's for taking the actual meat off the bones, it's a little bit more flexible than I would like. I typically use two fillet knives when I'm cleaning fish anyways. I have the knife that takes the skin off, which this would be my choice, and then I have a little stiffer knife that I use for actually taking the meat off of the fish carcass. So let me show you guys our own knife made in our own factory. This one here is called the Blackmouth, and it is a 5.5-inch cutting point from the cutting edge, basically. So the plunge line to the tip is 5.5 inches. It's a 6-inch overall blade. This one has the chrome blue Chinook resin. They come with these beautiful boxes here. Unfortunately, all of our knives, to keep the price competitive, we're using all leather sheaths, but the sheaths are sublimated. Like, this is an example of a sheath that you would get. This is actually a Chinook salmon that I caught out on the lake with my friend Mike Ert. I took a close-up of the image, and these are sublimated on the sheaths. So you get a beautiful leather sheath with each knife that you purchase from us. The higher-made USA-made collaborations with that really flexible knife I just showed you, it does come with a Kydex sheath, which is the main difference. And so, not that you need a Kydex sheath for a fillet knife, but we chose Kydex sublimated because that's what was available. So that's one of our fillet knives there. We do have a fillet knife that has a slightly different angle grind and plunge line to it. And the flex is really low. So most of the guys I talk to, they say that this would be a much better deer crafting knife. Again, this blade doesn't have much flex to it at all. It's because the plunge line here is so far forward, but it makes an incredible knife to clean all the meat off the deer with. Guys love this knife. They rant and rave about it. So this one here is called the Hunter, and it is a same size as the Blackmouth, which was the original, which was the last fillet knife I showed you. This one is in the chrome Chinook salmon resin scales. And then we have another one here, which is in the brown trout scales. So this is an epoxy resin scale with brown trout resin. It's got the nice black spots and red spots to look like a brown trout. And then you get this beautiful sheath with them. The sheaths usually will match the theme. So like this one here gets this sheath. The artist of this sheath is called Native Trout. They are amazing. If you haven't checked them out, look them up. The sheath that comes with the other Hunter is that chrome Chinook salmon that I caught out in Lake Ontario. Really beautiful knife. We sold out of our Minnow's Revenge last time we had them. We only had 10 Minnow's Revenge, but we have a few more in stock. Here's one we have right now with a brown trout micarta. This one has 2 brown trout spots on each side that are the pin mosaic, and then it's got a brown trout black and brass mosaic in the middle. Nice little paring knife version, but you can use it for anything. It's got a thicker blade, so if you really need to get in and dig in, this is a great knife. I've been forgetting to tell you about the steels. Everything is pretty much 440C except these original knives here, which these ones are the AEBL. Sorry, I'm getting a little tired here, but I'll remember to do that on the next future knives. We have more sockeyes in stock. Here is a new version of the sockeye here. It's got that really nice curve to the blade, really super comfortable. It's got the nice tight jimping there. It's got the resin here to kind of resemble the characteristics of a sockeye salmon, but really beautiful stonewash blade to it. And it's got that trailing point tip and a nice swedge along the top of the knife to make it a nice sharp point. But real comfortable in hand. The ergonomics of this knife are just incredible. For the silver series, we have some knives that were supposed to be a sturgeon style knife. There was a mix-up in the design and the development of this knife, so we have 5 of these knives that are absolutely beautiful. They have this really cool multicolor anodized blade. It's got the sturgeon finish on the handle. It's got the sturgeon mosaic, but it's got a striped bass laser etched on the blade, and it says Striper Sniper. Again, this is one of our silver series knife, and it's made out of stainless Damascus steel. It looks beautiful, feels awesome in the hand, but there was an error in the etching right here. So we're doing these for an incredible price. They're $100, shipped to your house anywhere in the USA. Awesome knife. And that brings us to the Platinum series. This one is a perfect one. This is a sturgeon surgeon, and you can see the nice epoxy resin handle of the sturgeon pattern. It's got a nice trout inlay in red in the middle. It's got the nice tight jimping here on the spine. It's got the sturgeon etching on the one side, and it's really, really comfortable in hand. It's got this beautiful lanyard with a nice matching bead. And this was a lot of work to make this knife because we used a lot of white pin, a lot of mosaics that were brass with white filling for the pins to give that sturgeon the white spots that it has, and it really came out cool. So this knife is $159.99 retail, and we have 5 of these available. One of our best knives we have right here, this one's called the Pure Sportsman, and this is a stainless Damascus steel, and it's anodized blue, and it's got the chrome Chinook resin on the handle, and it's got a beautiful mosaic in the center here, which is going to be hard to see, but it's a trout with pine trees behind it. And that mosaic's called Trout and Trees. And on the other side, we have a Trevor Hawkins egg wagon salmon, which is right here. It's really, really a beautiful knife. I mean, it's comfortable in the hand. It's got jimping just at the top of the handle, and then it's got jimping right here towards the front in case you want to make any sort of detailed cuts or, cut out any traced patterns. Really nice clip point at the end here. Just really a beautiful knife. On the smaller side, we have a new knife that has a compound grind. This one's called the Globo, and this one has glow-in-the-dark honeycomb resin handle. It's got a glow-in-the-dark trout mosaic, and this one has the Trevor Hawkins egg wagon rainbow etched into the side here. This is a stone wash finish. It's got a straight spine to it, but it's got 2 rows of jimping. There's 1 jimping just above the handle here, and then again there's jimping towards the tip to help with those fine cuts if you wanted to hold the knife like this here. And again, it's got a compound grind. It's got a hollow grind here on the front. I'm sorry, here on the side. So this thing is razor sharp, and it is super comfy in your hand. This one's only about 6.5 inches big, so it's a great EDC knife if you want. That also brings us to the next little tiny knife. This one is a ring knife. It has a brown trout micarta pattern. This knife is called the Trib Tech. So it's got the ring on the back. It's got the brook trout mosaic spot. And this is specifically designed to be a wader pocket knife. So if you want a knife that you're going to carry in your wader pocket that's small, doesn't take up a lot of space, but you could do a lot with, that is this knife. It's really comfortable. It's a nice fat round blade with some nice jimping right in front of the handle with a nice thumb ramp there, and then it's got a nice drop point. So just really comfortable. This one's out of 440C. Really beautiful. You can attach a lanyard if you want. Whatever you want to do, this is just a really cool little knife to have. We've been selling tons of these ones. Definitely worth taking a look at. The next one we got, this one is called the Trout Scout, and it's really beautiful. It's got the pink and white resin on it to look like a steelhead, obviously. It's got the Trevor Hawkins egg wagon artwork on the back, the rainbow egg wagon. And this handle is also so ergonomically comfortable. It really fits in your hand nicely. You have a lot of control. You won't feel like your hand's going to slip up at all on this. And again, it's got two mosaics. These both are 2 blue trout mosaics. And it's got a lanyard with a matching black bead. And the pins are, there's 1 extra pin at the bottom in silver, but really beautiful knife. Again, it's in that 6 to 7 inch range. Great EDC knife. And last but not least, I'm going to show you guys, we have our first serrated knife, our partially serrated knife. This is a walleye themed e-sox. So we have our original e-sox that was made by Michael Cook at Cook Knives in Virginia. And Mike made the non-serrated version of this with Nitro V steel, and he made it with a Kydex sheath. Really beautiful. We have a couple of those available if you're interested. But as far as this one goes, this is a serrated version here. It's got those file marks at the top, the scarring along the spine. This has a nice gradual drop point here and a nice thumb ramp. It makes it really super comfortable to get in there and do the heavy tasks. And it's got nice red liners and a nice leather lanyard. And the etching is a Orndorff walleye on the one side. And just really a beautiful knife. So if you want a walleye themed knife, if you're a walleye guy, this is a knife for you. So 440C steel. And we're going to be coming out with a bunch more, and we're kind of trying to fine-tune which knives are our best sellers and hone in on those. I did just remember there was one more. This little one right here is called the Fall Run, and this knife is $129. It's got the denim micarta red liners. It's got the Legends of the Fall artwork on the one side from Trevor Hawkins. It's got the jimping in front of the handle, jimping at the tip, and you know, a brass lanyard hole with a lanyard. And it comes with, again, it comes with these really cool sheaths. I mean, that's a total package there. And I mean, where are you going to get something handmade like this for $129? I mean, it's going to be tough to find. And the fit and finish of these things, I'm telling you, they're the best in the industry. So if you have a chance, you can get these on ColvilleOutfitters.com. We also have a secondary website called AnglersEdgeTools.com. So you could check us out there as well. So there's a few different ways. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, all over, but we'll constantly be putting up new products. And hopefully now that Joe is back with us, we'll be doing a monthly video with all the new items. So thank you guys. I'll see you out on the river. Tight lines and take care.